'Twas the propped up before Christmas, and all through the house. All my gifts were being wrapped up. Even the all my gifts were being wrapped up by this louse. There we go. I found my way through it in the end. Good morning, everyone. This is Royce Miller coming back at you with yet another uh, intermittent installment of my ongoing series, Propped Up. And today on the docket, we are going back to the 90s, back to the era of the one, the only Arnold Schwarzenegger, as we talk about Turbo Man. It's Turbo time. What is Turbo Man? So like it's. I guess I should describe the movie it comes from first. So Jingle All the Way is a film from the late 90s. I want to say 97. I believe that's when we got it on VHS. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Phil Hartman, Jake Lloyd, Sinbad, and I believe Richard Mull has a small role in it. And then it even has I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife is actually played by I didn't wake anyone up. I am actually recording this in the morning. I believe that Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife is played by. She looked very familiar in the movie. I want to say it's the mom from either Home Improvement or Malcolm in the Middle, maybe. One of those like very classic characters. Anyway. So, stop me if this starts sounding weird. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a mattress salesman. Give me a second, I'm still sick. Man, I would love to not have to constantly pause. Or, what I would really like would it be like if I didn't have to like record while I was sick, but the darn YouTube algorithm will drop me like a lead weight if I don't. So, I'm enslaved to the SEO. And if you're wondering why my lips are so glistening, it is not because I've been diving into a turkey leg, and it is not because I'm covered in snot. It's because my lips are so chapped that I need constant lip balm application. I feel like the Joker at the end of Arkham City when, like, he's trying to save a little face by just applying lipstick over his, like, scabby, like, open sore-covered lips. I forget what are those still, like, canker sores or whatever you call them? Herpes? Oh, sorry. Anyway. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Turbo Man. And so, he stays late one night at work, and it's not to party or anything. He's just a workhorse, which is funny, and although a little buyable in a way because like Arnold Schwarzenegger has charisma. It's weird, and I think that comes from comes from his days as Mr. Universe. It's kind of like how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had a lot of charisma from his wrestling career. Anyway, but because of this, he misses his son Jake Lloyd's karate meet recital, whatever you call it. Basically, he upgrades from one belt to the next. I want to say he goes from a blue belt to a yellow belt, but I'm not sure. And so like Arnold tries to comfort him when he finally does get home, and like Jake Lloyd, who most of you will remember as the kid version of Anakin Skywalker, does a great job here. The person who directed this movie knows how to direct kids, and Jake does a good job. It's almost like the reason that Anakin sucked in the prequel films had nothing to do with the actor playing him. and everything to do with the direction. That said, kid actors are often abused on set as well. Like, that's actually something Robin Williams really railed hard against while they filmed Jumanji, was making sure that is Kirsten Dunst and the other kid were treated okay on set. Anyway, but so he asks him what he wants for Christmas, and the boy says, "I want a Turbo Man action figure," and rattles off the commercial, and he's like, "Okay, I'll get that for you." And basically the whole film is a parody of the toy craze that happened a lot back then. The Tickle Me Elmo, the Cabbage Patch Kid, the Power Rangers. And you can see that, and finally we get into the toy itself. Now you can see here that Turbo Man has a lot of design elements to him. The show we see in the beginning, where Turbo Man fights basically putties, and his villain is very campy. So I think the main thing they're aping is Power Rangers, which is also kind of emblematic in his very Rocketeer-esque design. It's he's got kind of a oh, hold on. Fun fact, my old bosses finally sent my Cobra letter last night. It was within the 60 days they were supposed to, but that's still fucking asinine of them to do it 2 weeks before my new insurance kicks in. That's basically saying that's like tipping a penny. That's like a fuck you. God, I hope that's not the automated thumbnail to this. Anyway, the Rocketeer wasn't exactly a financial, wasn't exactly huge. So I don't think that's a thing here. But there is another character who came out a couple years before who definitely was an influence on him, and that was Buzz Lightyear. And I'm going to showcase several things here. Hold on one second. You don't like it when I cough or anything, but don't begrudge me some water. This is what I've actually been drinking off camera. You can call bullshit all you want, but I know to hydrate when I'm. But I know how to hydrate when I'm off. I just don't like drinking directly from the thing on camera because it looks, it doesn't look pretty. And as we can see, I am just pure sex appeal. Anyway, I hope you understood that was sarcasm. I know I look hideous, and no, I'm not asking for compliments. I know I don't wear my fat well. You know who does wear their fat? Who did wear their fat very well? John Candy. A gorgeous man, despite the fact he was also overweight. Anyway, but that's enough about Home Alone. We're talking about a different Fox property. No, yeah, Fox. Yeah, because it's on Disney Plus, not HBO Max. Okay, so what are the various ways that Turbo Man apes Buzz? Well, I mean, obviously the most important one is
you can always count on me.
Voice box.
Beware of evildoers. Good work, Booster. Beware of evildoers. It's turbo time. You can always count on me.
I wonder if that's randomized. Anyway, so there's that, obviously. Then you have light up features. For whatever reason, he has effing landing things on his legs. Actually, that kind of makes sense if he's... Come on. If he's trying to land when he's, or when he's flying and it's warning to other airplanes maybe. And then of course, oh my god, he's so broad-shouldered you can't see the host. So we got to do it again. We got to do it again. Just like Buzz's. Then the Turbo Rang, which he has instead of a high-speed laser. A cute little fold-out thing that goes in his little boot holster. It doesn't fit super well in his hand, but that's why they gave you the holster. And I also had a. He also comes with a disc launcher, but I temporarily lost it. It's somewhere in this room. I think it's on that table, but it's full of paperwork right now. Like, this year's been a weird year for me. I actually got sued earlier in the year by a lady who I got in an accident with. I won't go into it too much. Basically, I didn't do any damage to her car, but she still wanted money. So she pretended to get like, oh, my neck. And then, but here's the thing. Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If that car crash were enough to hurt her, wouldn't it have hurt me? Anyway. His field of motion is pretty equitable to Buzz's as well. He doesn't have a movable midsection the way Buzz does. Nor does he have movable feet, okay, you know what, never mind. He doesn't have anything on Buzz. Like, this is basically a Buzz Lightyear-sized action figure. Because here's the thing, Buzz Lightyear is not an action figure. Buzz Lightyear is a doll. When you get to this tall, you lose the right to be called an action figure. Action figures are 3 to 6 inches. Okay, we'll be generous. We'll say 3 to 8 inches. They usually come with vehicles or little weapons, but and I think that's where the Power Ranger part comes in, especially is this guy comes with equipables. He comes with the Turbo Rang. He comes with a little wrist launcher that launches discs that replaces Buzz's laser. And he's just a fantastic he's just a fantastic design. I need to take my Dayquil after this. I was taking NyQuil, but I ran out, and I forgot to pick up more on the way home. And yes, this did come with the box originally, but unfortunately it was in the basement, so it got a little gunky. But now I just have him here, and he looks beautiful. Also, fun little note. The battery, so here's the battery pack. This fascinating bit, this is actually powered by the battery pack. So this is a powered equipable light. And I think that's actually one of the coolest parts of this is that it's got this feature to it where these pieces are not the only thing that's really endemic to the Turbo Man are his light-up legs and his voice box. Everything that really makes him Turbo Man is an equipable. And that's pretty cool, I think. And, you might be like, well, that's just more to lose. But I think it kind of sells the fact that he's kind of supposed to be a Power Ranger a little more. How do I say this? It sells the toyeticness of him. You know what I mean? It's not it's like how back in the 90s they sold 1,000 different variants of Batman and Ninja Turtles. My cousin got a brand, my grandma used to buy my cousin, because there was a brief period where she was raising him. My grandma used to buy my cousin a Batman every time they went to Walmart, and it was a different Batman. Red Batmans, blue Batmans, green Batmans. Batman Beyond, New Batman Adventures, Batman starring Michael Keaton, Batman starring George Clooney, Batman starring Christian Bale. There were so many Batman action figures. Um, and like, I know people don't like Jingle All the Way a lot. Oh, I almost forgot that. Is it John Belushi? Yeah, I think, or Jim Belushi. Jim Belushi has a small cameo as a mall Santa in the film. But anyway, no, it's a lot of like, it's very nostalgic, and it's kind of like Mouse Hunt, where it's a live action cartoon. Like people like to call Home Alone a live action cartoon. No, that there's still enough of a like, there is enough like, it only gets really slapstick and like like unbelievable in the last act when they're in the house. But like Mouse, the Nathan Lane film Mouse Hunt is literally just a Tom and Jerry film brought to life. And Jingle All the Way is kind of a, I mean, like, honestly, I would say that it's kind of like one of those old Goofy shorts, where Goofy would be like a man in modern suburbia, just trying to like learn how to golf or drive on the road or something. This would literally be like a Goofy short, like how to get your son his favorite toy for Christmas. And like he'd be called George in the short for some reason. There's a lot of like fun moments in the film too, like so there's this bit where Sinbad threatens the cops with what he says is a mail bomb, and like, remind you, this was pre 9/11, so it wasn't as much of a oh my god thing as it is now. Actually, it was still kind of an oh my god thing. I'm pretty sure this was post Unabomber. And he and the cops are like, and one of the cops looks at the bomb and is like, "Oh please, I worked in bomb disposal for years. This is clearly not." Opens it up and then just Sinbad does a double take as he's running away, runs back away. This is a messed up country. Yeah. But because it's a kids movie, you do cut to the cops covered in soot, and one of the cops looks at them and looks at the older cop and says, "How many years in bomb disposal, sir?" And that's a cute scene. That's fun. That's a funny scene. And then there's a scene where like Arnold Schwarzenegger beats up a reindeer and then gets drunk with it. And then the whole climax takes place during like this weird Christmas Eve Day parade, which is just so odd to me because like it's clearly the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, which would also make sense because it's Black Friday. But like, it's not Black Friday. It takes place on Christmas Eve. Like the final act takes place on Christmas Eve, and I feel like it should have been a Thanksgiving movie because it's so much about the start of the holiday season, the Black Friday shopping, because like there would not be this many people picking over stores a few days before Christmas. Like, maybe back then, I don't know the culture. I was like 4 when the movie came out. And like, while this does represent kind of unrepentant consumerism, it's also just a really well designed toy. Like, Tiger did a great job because they designed toys that were then sold in tandem with the movie. The consumerism takes advantage of the satire. This is actually not by Tiger, though. This is a reproduction created by Funko, and they did a good job. Now, you'll notice that the gold finish here is matte, whereas it was more chrome in the original version. But that's a nitpicky thing that only idiots like me would recognize. It's still a good piece, and like, it's not the best made, but it's a toy. It's not supposed to be made with the best made. Um, Believe it or not, there was a brief time during last year where these became super rare, and so they started going for like $300 on eBay and being scalped at. And well, but then Funko released a bunch more of them, and so the scalpers ended up with a bunch of excess stock. And I'm like, sucks to be you. I got this for $30 at Walmart, which is still a lot for what is ostensibly just like a plastic action figure that talks.
Beware of evildoers.
Um, it's weird. I have a lot of my favorite like toys and items and stuff end up being commentaries on like consumerism and the you know the yeah, the evils of nationalism. Like you can see up there, I have Liberty Prime, who is supposed to be a parody on government overspending on military budgets and how weapons contractors gouge them for all they're worth. And meanwhile, I'm just like, cool robot who say funny thing. He shouts patriotic slogans while throwing nuclear warheads like footballs. It's fun. Anyway, just remember that Christmas is about the people. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got some more presents to wrap, and then I gotta return the present I got for my Grandma Nancy. Hi, Grandma, because it's not the right fit for the other thing I got her. I love you, Grandma. I'll see you soon. I'll hopefully be there for your birthday. Alright, everyone. Y'all have a good one. This is Royce Miller. I'm outie.